Father Rolando, Rudy, Badiola was born in Baao, Camarines Sur, in the Philippines, the second of 12 children. The Badiola house was located just on the other side of the local church, a fixture of daily life in their household. Being so close by, the priests would visit their house most often, and the seminarians who would stay in the rectory over the summer were role models to young Father Rudy. The vocation to the priesthood grew with Father Rudy as he grew, but when he broached the topic to his family, they were unsupportive, with his mother as the only exception. They felt there was no need for him to be a priest, and they were concerned that he would be assigned to the middle of nowhere. When Father Rudy was ordained at the tender age of 23 for the Archdiocese of Cáceres, he was technically underage. In addition to teaching Spanish at the high school, he was doing much of the work of running the parish, as the pastor was elderly and sickly. Without a pastoral charge, Father Rudy made his way to Manila, looking for somewhere that would take him in. He was recommended by a priest he knew to a parish in Manila, where the pastor took him in and treated him like an assistant pastor. Here he became beloved of his pastor for many reasons, one of which was his willingness to minister in the slums of Manila. Eventually, Cardinal Sin asked for priests who were willing to work abroad, and his pastor, the cardinal's private secretary, recommended him for the work. The cardinal had to ask Father Rudy, "What have you done that your pastor has nothing but good things to say about you?" Father Rudy spent the next couple of years in Iran, traveling around the country to visit the small community of Catholics there. When asked upon his departure from the Philippines if he would be afraid because it was a Muslim-majority country, he expressed no fear, rather that one simply had to stay on the right side of the law. Eventually, the government of Iran found out he was a priest, and he was sent back to the Philippines, but not before a trip to Rome, courtesy of the Bishop of Tehran, who was a Vincentian, who arranged for his order to tour Father Rudy around. Back in Manila, an opening came up for a priest to go to Canada, and Cardinal Sin asked him if he would go to Vancouver. After a trying time in Vancouver, Father Rudy applied for a transfer to the Diocese of Calgary, where Bishop O'Byrne asked for his immediate arrival. He was assigned to St. Peter's in northwest Calgary first for 4 months, in the days when the parish was still in trailers. Following this, Father Rudy was given his first pastorship in the diocese, that of Sacred Heart Parish in Oyen. The assignment was a daunting one. The drive from Oyen to Calgary was comparable to the one from his hometown of Baao, Camarines Sur, to Manila. It was to be a lesson in Canadian life. Father Rudy has many beloved memories of his time there, as he learned to visit his parishioners and share meals with them. He had no cooking skills, so this was partly out of necessity, as well as pastoral creativity. This was no small feat either. In these days, Oyen's territory was vast with a small Catholic population, with smaller missions in Acadia Valley, Empress, and Benlas. Even today, some 30 years later, Father Rudy reflects upon how well the people of this far-flung parish treated him as he met with them, visited them, broke bread with them, and even learned to ride on their combine harvesters. He learned to meet his parishioners in their happiness. In one moving incident, he visited an older lady living in the far northern part of his parish, near the boundary with the Archdiocese of Edmonton. As he came up the stairs, she began to cry. He was the first priest who had ever come out to visit. All of this dedicated work paid off in spades, as he was able to pay off the debt on the parish church in 3 years and burn the mortgage. When Bishop O'Byrne asked how he managed it, the reply was simple: all they needed was a priest they could trust. The next few pastoral charges were in the eastern part of the diocese, in Strathmore, Drumheller, and Medicine Hat, after which Father Rudy was made the diocesan advisor of the Catholic Women's League, or CWL, and asked for a transfer to Calgary to be able to take up this new ministry more efficiently. A short time later, he was also asked to be in Calgary to be one of the celebrants and spiritual advisor for the devotion and celebration of the annual feast of Our Lady of Penafrancia. Our Lady of Penafrancia, Spanish, Nuestra Señora de Penafrancia, is an image of the Blessed Virgin Mary in the Philippines. The original Marian image is permanently enshrined in the minor basilica of Our Lady of Penafrancia in Naga. Nowadays, Father Rudy spends his time at the Providence Center, having retired 14 years ago from his last post at Canadian Martyrs in Calgary. He still spends at least 2 stints of 15 minutes each with the Blessed Sacrament daily, praying the breviary or simply in conversation with Jesus. Father Rudy stresses the importance of speaking personally to Jesus in the Blessed Sacrament, rather than simple recitation of rote prayers. Direct answers must not be expected, but sooner or later, in bringing one's problems and questions to Jesus, the answer will come clear. When asked for advice for young men and women who would also be discerning priesthood or religious life, Father Rudy offered what only 60 years of priestly ministry could offer. I never doubted my vocation. I went on, despite the problems I encountered. Some superiors will not like you. I never paid attention to that. The important thing is that I did my job as a priest. Never worry about anything. Build your relationships with people. Don't say anything. Don't demand. People will see your needs and bless you in return. Follow your vocation. Your vocation will give you the grace needed. If it is meant for you, then it will come. This is certainly visible in Father Rudy's life. Any number of the trials of his life could have broken his vocation. However, each hardship only made his vocation stronger, a 60-year-long vocation that we celebrate as a testament to faithful, trusting, and of course, his faithful perseverance.